What a game. I want to give LIU a lot of credit. They were locked in. Their starting pitcher, we knew he was going to be tough. He had a really good changeup, and he could back it up with that fastball off the changeup. And I was impressed with how they didn't seem nervous at all. Sometimes teams come in here that first game of a regional and they're overwhelmed a little bit, and that's a credit to them and their coaches. And then obviously with this team, nothing surprises me. They're going to play 27 outs. My mind, Coach Gaines said it best after they hit that home run. Coach Gaines said, this is just like Florida Atlantic. This just can't happen. This team's too good. So I'm glad he thought that. And I thought our guys that last inning had really, really locked in at bats, because that's a tough atmosphere to have those at bats. And then Gavin obviously locked in all night, made big play defensively for us. Haskin we were talking about Gavin the other day. I talked to Haskin a lot. He's kind of the grandpa of our team. And he goes, slow heartbeat, coach, slow heartbeat. That kid's got a slow heartbeat. He had a slow heartbeat tonight. So that's a big win for us, and get some good sleep and be ready for a great night tomorrow night.
Questions for Anthony and Gavin? Just raise your hand, I'll get to you.
Yeah, Gavin, you just take us through that last at bat, what you saw, what you felt.
Yeah, so last week I'd been in the pretty much exact same situation against Wake Forest, and it was a situation where I didn't get the job done that time, so I just kind of used that experience to really trust myself and know that I was going to get it done this time.
Rod?
Anthony, what are the emotions going into that final frame there? You're down 3 and then the wild sequence that followed.
It was one hell of a game. Madera looks over at me, he goes, we're not out of the fight yet. Down 3 runs, big spot, and we just kept passing the torch. Obviously Gally got ice water in his veins going out there and delivering that 3-run jack to set us ahead. So,
Did you all have that slow heartbeat, or was
Yeah,
yours jumping a little bit?
Yeah, going out there, we preach the process here. Coach Forbes tells us that every day, and just being able to go out there, pass the torch. Obviously, we're all stone cold. If we try to do it.
Michael, all right.
Gavin, first of all, have your feet touched the ground yet? Are you still sort of high on the adrenaline?
It's definitely still kicking, yeah.
Has it sort of hit you yet? That's the dream of every kid who picks up a bat, hitting a walk-off grand slam to win a big game for your team. Has that sunk in?
I think you're right. I don't think it really has yet. I was just happy to get the job done for the team. So maybe we'll see later once I.
Do you remember the last time you hit a walk-off home run?
A real walk-off home run? Never. But sure, I think there was one in Little League once where we run roll the team and I hit a walk-off home run, if that counts.
All right, front row.
You talk about the general groove you were in at the plate tonight. Was there a pattern to your at-bats that were making them successful?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is these guys like to make jokes, but seriously slowing the game down definitely helps a lot. I felt like I did a good job of that tonight. I felt like I saw, all these pitches well, and I also, noticed patterns watching those guys in front of me, the kind of pitch sequencing that their pitchers were going through and stuff like that.
Back right, Pat.
Gavin, you're from the area, get to host the regional. Did you have a lot of friends and family here? What did that mean for you?
Yeah, no, it's awesome because with all my family still lives fairly close by, and even those that didn't, my brother and my sister drove a long way to come watch, and it was really cool too. My best friends from home got to come by too at the last second, so that was really awesome to see them. It does mean a lot being from the area, because this is such a great place, and I think more people need to see that.
Anthony, what sets Gavin apart? Not many freshmen are doing what Gavin, did tonight.
To be a true freshman and do that, obviously he's got a long career ahead of him. He's an incredibly talented player, but what separates guys is their work ethic, and he goes out there every day. He just loves the game, loves the process, and it's a testament to his ability. Look what he did tonight. He's been providing clutch at-bats, hits all year for us, so he's going to continue to do that in the home stretch here.
Gavin, take me through when you're running around the bases. I saw, Luke, a fellow freshman, kind of pointing at you, probably just pumping you up, I guess. What was that moment like after you knew the game, you'd walked it off?
First of all, I think I blacked out for a while there. It was all kind of sinking in at the same time, but yeah, when you're in here every single day with these guys, you just pull for each other hard. And so I think that's all that was, just the emotion of going to battle every single day with your brothers, and you know, we're all happy to see each other succeed.
Earl?
What was the talk in the middle of the ninth inning in the dugout amongst the players? What was that like?
Yeah, we were just trying to slow the game down and take it one pitch at a time, because when you have a roster like ours, it's so easy to trust the guy behind you that you just know you have to get it to him. So if you can do your job, get on base, get it to the next guy, it makes it a whole lot easier to do your job when you can trust the guys behind you.
Grace from left.
Anthony, was there any point during that ninth inning, any moment that you knew you guys were rolling?
I mean, we don't play on the heels of our feet. We don't play tentative. You know, we want to go out there, be aggressive. We have this joke, default aggressive. And I feel like what we did really well there is just pass the torch. You know, every guy had faith in the next, and that's what we do here. So.
Anybody else for the players? Grace, go ahead.
Anthony, to follow that up, how big do you think that ninth inning was, especially for the top three in the lineup who'd kind of struggled earlier in the game?
I mean, you got to clear the earlier at bats. You know, obviously it's a big situation, regardless of who you're playing. Like LA is a very talented team. They went out there, you know, gave us their best game, and just we were able to, you know, ultimately get the W. So.
Anybody else? Okay, guys, thank you very much. We'll excuse you. We'll get ready for tomorrow. Interesting point. Both games ended today by walk-off home run by freshman. Coach Forbes, questions for Scott. Michael?
Coach, you mentioned a little bit Atlantic off the top. I mean, did that pop into your head? You said Coach Gaines was the one who brought it up. What were you thinking about that too? I mean, where does this compare, honestly, with that drama?
I mean, it compares very favorable. That was in the elimination game. The winner of that game is going to a super. They had forced it on Sunday. Coach Jackson was here with me a long time. We talk about it all the time. Just the thoughts that go through your head. I mean, that 13 team was unbelievable, and you're trying to fight what we call those demons of like, oh man, I might be on the road recruiting tomorrow. But it was a similar game, the unbelievable atmosphere. Our fans were unbelievable tonight. I mean, that's as good as an atmosphere. And I've been here a long time, and I want to give our fans credit. They showed up, they were loud, and that helps. That helps tremendously. So I don't remember that crowd against Florida Atlantic. I'm sure it was good, but that game lasted so late into the night, it probably wasn't as big. But that was the coolest thing for me. The longer you do this, you know, the more perspective you have, and you know, to see those guys' excitement and then see everybody in the crowd, their excitement, that was really cool for me.
Grace, then Brendan.
Coach, you've talked about Gavin's slow heartbeat, but what about his mental fortitude? Started tonight off with an error, then made a diving catch at third, and then his performance at the plate.
Yeah, you know, we saw it at a really young age with him. His dad was a really good player. His dad actually played for Coach Gallaher at Wake Forest, and we thought he was a really good baseball player, committed to us back when you could commit when you were really young. And then the more we saw him, the better he kept getting. A lot of scouts that I talked to just said he's just a really good baseball player. He can play all over the field. He's going to continue to get better. He's going to continue to get stronger. But he never, you know, if you watch Gavin, he's very, even in BP, he doesn't get out of control very often. And, you know, the thing that's not going to show up in this box score is he made an unbelievable play, a couple unbelievable plays, but one, his feet came out from under him. If you go back in slow motion, that play, he threw that ball falling back. If you don't make that play, we may not be in this position. So, you know, I'm on him pretty hard about working as hard defensively as he does offensively, and he's accepted that challenge and learned to play third base, and that's been big for us too.
Can you find a comparison for what Gavin did tonight as a true freshman in a game like today?
Man, just clutch. We've had some clutch freshmen here. You know, a guy like Kyle Moran that year, he was clutch. Dustin Ackley was clutch. They got, you know, great hitters. It's not about batting average. They do it when the game's on the line or when runners are in scoring position. So it just made me think of some of the greats we've had here.
Pat and Rod and RL.
Coach, I know this week you talked about, you know, not looking past Long Island. It wasn't gonna be a problem for you, but easier said than done maybe for the guys. I mean, now that you survived it, do you feel like that's kind of an eye-opener for the locker room? Or?
I thought we were ready to play. I thought we were locked in. Our practices have been really good. And, you know, Jason just couldn't control the ball like he had been, and he had to fight through it. And he did, but you know, 4 walks and 1 strikeout when you're still in the game. But I didn't see anything that told me they were taking LIU lightly at all. They just, again, give LIU credit, and you know, they're here for a reason. But yeah, I thought our guys played loose, they played hard, and you know, it was a big swing. That was a big inning for us when Madera got that big hit. So there was a lot of big moments in that game for sure.
Rod?
Scott, you discussed the demons. Did you kind of feel those sink in tonight, or what were the emotions going into that bottom half?
You know, I'm a big believer in positivity and that you can flip your mindset. We work on it all the time. Our sports psychologist, Jenny Shannon's unbelievable. She kind of introduced me to that as those thoughts are going to come in your brain. They come in your brain as a head coach, and I just try to flip it and be positive with it. Because I want the guys to feed off me and understand, like, hey, you got to keep your eyes forward. And we say 27 outs all the time because you got to get them. There's no 10-run rule in the postseason. So I feel like the older you get, the more you're able to flip it. And that perspective helps as well. And this is a special group, so really, for me, it's lifting them up, encouraging them, and making sure that they keep their eyes forward. Because when you have a group like this that wants it so bad, they could be a little bit tentative, but I didn't feel that tonight.
A couple of questions on the relief. Did you have a flashback to last Friday when you were 1 strike away from putting away Wake Forest and this happens? And the other part is, what does the bullpen situation look like to you for tomorrow?
Yeah, you know, this is the game of baseball. That's what makes it so awesome. You know, you can be elated like that with Gavin, and then it'll kick you right. But you know what? It's just the way it works. And
What exactly?
you know, if anything, maybe I need to tell the post to just slow down. He was getting excited, and he usually buries that split he threw. But I mean, to answer your question, this time of year, these guys, 38, 32, 21, they've been, Coach Allen, Coach Gaines done a really good job with those big 3 arms, and they'll all be ready to rock and roll tomorrow.
It gets lost in the 10 runs in the 9th, but how big was Mateus getting out of that 1st and 3rd after you cut it to 1 run?
Yeah, that was huge, and I believe that's the inning that Gavin made that play, when it was hit sharp to third base, and he was able to tag the guy at 3rd. But you know, pitchers get jitters too, and the velocity wasn't quite as high as it had been, but I'm glad we were able to win. But man, those are our big 3 guys, but we've got some other great arms, and I'm excited to watch Spray tomorrow as well.
Brian?
Did you have any conversations with Gavin after the Wake game, and what does it mean to you as a coach just to see him come up big today when he couldn't get it done really against Wake?
Not really. I mean, no kid. The only conversation you would have with a kid is if you felt like his heartbeat sped up or his routine sped up. But nobody that gets in the box in this game is ever not trying to succeed. So I just said, hey man, move on. You'll get another opportunity. You've been great all year for us, and sure enough, he was ready tonight, man. He was unbelievable. I mean, that was a no doubter that he hit right there. I enjoyed that. There was no question about it.
Last 2, Adam and Grace.
Scott, I'm sorry if you've already addressed it. I was just scurrying down here. When in the 9th, when they hit the 3-run homer to go ahead, it seemed like kind of a shocking thing, obviously, around here. Like, what did you sense from your guys after that ball got out of here, and you're looking at a loss?
I mean, our dugout was still great. I mean, obviously it's going to get quiet when that happens, because that was a bomb too. But I watch how our guys run in, and it did remind me. I remember Cody Stubbs running directly in and just going right back to the bat rack and grabbing his helmet and putting it on. And I saw the same look in Vance's eyes, and getting that leadoff man on, like that's the key most of the time to having a rally. And Casey Cook's been one of our best hitters all year, so I'm like, okay, we're going to get this time run to the plate. But I saw those guys, they believed, they didn't look tight to me or nervous, and that's why it was very similar to Florida Atlantic.
And the top of the lineup, just to follow up real quick, sorry, Kirsch, the top of the lineup had been sort of quiet up to that point. I think they were 1 for 11 going into the 9th, maybe, the top 3.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, man, we're gonna win this game 5-3 or 5-4, and those guys hadn't done anything, but we do have a deep lineup. We had guys step up throughout, and Berto had 2 RBIs, and obviously Madera had 2 RBIs. So that's what I like about our lineup. You know, there are a couple guys that aren't doing it, but again, you know, it's preferable to have your top 3 be as good as they are do it. But Casey still managed to get 2 hits and 2 big ones.
Last one, Grace.
Coach, we asked Gavin about his emotions when he took that swing, but what was going through your head when you saw that ball gone?
Just excitement. You know, I don't hide from it. Like, nobody's a calm, cool customer in that situation. I mean, as soon as it's hit, I just remember putting my hand up and being like, this is awesome. And again, the crowd, that's why you work so hard, and hosting's hard. You know, hosting a region was hard, and there's pressure on these kids when you do host, and I feel like when something like that happens too, it really helps your team and relieves a lot of that pressure. But I was just thinking, man, this is awesome.
Coach, thank you. Just